All right. So let's toggle over to the signal of the future. So the signal of the future, it's going to be the one coming out on Monday. So you are getting a sneak peek for those of you who are live today or who will be watching this over the weekend. The signal is token, the word token. What am I talking about with a token? Well, you've heard a lot about AI, and you probably know that the foundational models in the United States, born here in the US, are, ChatGPT, which is done by OpenAI, Claude, which is done by Anthropic, Perplexity is another, common large language model. And you probably know that China also has its own large language models, which run on a fraction of the energy that the US-born large language models run on. But here's what a token is. Some of you may know, especially if you're in computer science or you know somebody who programs, that both Claude and ChatGPT have come out with coding models. And these models are very resource intensive, not only intensive for energy. We hear a lot about data centers and AI and the need for more energy, but they're also very intensive with the amount of compute that is needed. So tokens are the way of measuring like a unit of compute. So when you go on ChatGPT and you ask it whatever question you're going to ask it, let's say you require 2 tokens of compute. Well, now that we're doing more coding using the large language models, the amount of compute required to run, to create a small app or, code a piece of like code some HTML for a website, it's much greater. And I'm told that the amount of compute between February and April of 2026 quadrupled. That's what these large language models are requiring. So once again, China is demonstrating that it can do more with less. So not only is China able to do more large language model processing with less energy, but it's also demonstrating how it can do it with less compute. So last year, you may remember that I said China may have already won the war for AI.